to the second episode of the Recalibrate Conversation series, and I'm truly delighted to have you here today. Whether you're joining for the first time or you were part of the previous episode, it's so good to have you here, and I want to seize this moment to wish you Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you. In celebration of the season of love, this week's episode is going to be a special and an interesting one where I will be discussing with you one of the chapters from my upcoming book, Recalibrate, a book that will show you everything you need to succeed as a student. So you want to join the wait list so as to get updated information about this book when it is released. This episode, I'm going to be discussing one of the most interesting chapters of this book, which I have titled Books, Looks, and Love. Are relationships really a distraction in school? So let's find out. If you're like me, one of the biggest advice you got getting into school was pretty simple: face your book and avoid distractions. And what exactly was distraction in this context? It was anything that came with good looks and nice beards. Yes, that was distraction. So my mission in school was pretty simple. It was to ignore the looks and face the books. Why? Because the general notion is that romantic relationships will mess up with your grades, will mess up with your academic performance. Is this really true? I mean, look around. You've probably seen or heard of students who met in school who are now happily married, or you've heard of study partners who eventually became life partners. But we've also seen or heard of cases where students got together in a romantic relationship and it eventually did not work out. In fact, it became harmful for both parties involved. So there's been this never-ending debate about love relationships and how they affect academic performance. While looking into this, I found three major things that framed my perspective on this subject, and I'm going to share with you right now. Number one, the same level of commitment, intentionality, focus, learning, perseverance, and hard work required to succeed in school or in life is the same level required to make the most of any meaningful love relationship. So the question is, can you give 100% commitment to both at the same time? Now let's take for instance a student who's just starting out on his academic journey and is in his first or second year, and his focus is majorly to build on a solid foundation, and another student who has been struggling over the years with his academic performance and is now on probation. You'd agree with me that in both cases, getting into a love relationship can be a major source of distraction. So the major question you want to ask yourself is, am I able to cope with the demands of being in a relationship and the demands of my academics at the same time? Number two, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Anything that has your focus, your attention, has your time, and indirectly your life. So if academic success is what you truly desire, then a significant portion of your focus, your attention, your time, your thinking time should be dedicated towards that. However, when Mr. Knight in shining armor or Miss Beauty steps in, you'd realize that a major portion of your time, your thinking time, is diverted towards them, particularly in the early phase of such relationships. You want to be with them, you want to get on a call with them, you want to get into those long conversations, even when you have deadlines to meet, assignments to submit, and many other things demanding your attention in school. Now, on the flip side, when such relationships also experience downtimes, the negative emotions that comes with it can also affect your focus and your attention. So the wisdom here is to really ask yourself if you've been able to master some of the basic and essential life skills such as self-management, self-leadership, time management, emotional intelligence, emotional masteries, because if these skills are not there, getting into a relationship can become very distracting when you don't have the wisdom to manage the emotions that comes with it. Number three, when purpose is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. I strongly believe that one of the underlying factors that defines a relationship capable of supporting the success, the growth, and the progress of both partners is a relationship that is premised on the clarity of purpose. To a fair extent, you should be able to provide answers to questions like, where am I going in life? What are my career aspirations? What are my academic aspirations? And why am I even going in that direction? Because if you do not know where you're going, it becomes difficult for you to know who should go with you on that journey and who should not. This is one of the reasons you see bright students or students who desire to succeed academically, yet they keep struggling. Not because they lack the capacity to succeed academically, but because they have planted or situated themselves in environments that is not conditioned to support their success. And I also believe that for relationship in which both partners are equipped to thrive is primarily because both partners share similar set of values, commitment to academic success, commitment to their personal growth, commitment to their faith, and they also have a clear picture of where they are going. This helps them to put in measures, set boundaries that would help them mitigate those possible distractions that might come their way as a result of their love relationships. From these 3 points, I conclude that you can have all-round success in school, in your relationship or marriage, and generally in life. However, that is dependent on your ability to discern the specific priorities for each season of your life. And in my upcoming book, Recalibrate, I share further insights on how to identify each season and discern the specific priorities for each season of your life as a student. So I encourage you to get on the wait list so you can get up-to-date information about this book when it is released. My final words to you as we close out on this episode is found in Songs of Solomon chapter 8 and verses 4, which says, "Do not stir up love until it is time." Thank you for joining today's episode of the Recalibrate Conversation series. I hope you find this video insightful, and if you did, please do well to leave me your comments or share your likable comments with me in the comment section. I'll be waiting to read from you, and I'll see you in the next episode.